The courtroom fell completely silent as the defendant was led in. Hands cuffed, eyes worn and hollow, the man's presence froze the air. Judge Amara Jordan sat high above the floor, her expression calm, but her heart raced. The man standing before her wasn't just another accused criminal. It was Malik, her best friend from childhood, the boy who used to shield her from bullies, who once whispered dreams of escaping the chaos of Detroit together. The boy who promised they'd both make it out. Amara did. But Malik was in chains. Judge Amara Jordan had risen through the ranks of Michigan's legal system with quiet strength and unshakable determination. Born in one of Detroit's roughest neighborhoods, she had survived more than most could imagine. Now she was one of the first black women to serve on the state appellate bench. That morning started like any other, until the name Malik Thompson echoed in her courtroom. The moment their eyes met, the years vanished. Malik hadn't changed much, just older, wearier. Amara remembered him as the boy who once carried her on his back when they were running from a street shooting. He used to say, "One day we'll both be somewhere safe, Amara." Just you wait. She made it. But clearly life had dealt Malik a different hand. Malik was being charged with the murder of a police officer during a botched robbery at a local corner store. The evidence? A shaky eyewitness in a jacket similar to his found near the scene. But something wasn't right. The jacket had no blood on it. The eyewitness was a man who once had a public feud with Malik. That wasn't disclosed in court. The public defender assigned to Malik, a young attorney named Julia, seemed overwhelmed and undersupported. The prosecutor, on the other hand, spun a story that sounded airtight, but Amara knew the difference between fact and narrative. After court adjourned that day, Amara stayed late. Something gnawed at her. She began going over the case files again. The more she looked, the more questions emerged. A surveillance camera from across the street malfunctioned on the night of the crime. The technician in charge of the footage was a retired officer, a friend of the victim. Digging deeper, Amara discovered a store owner who had never testified, the man who ran the convenience store across from the crime scene. She paid him a quiet visit. Nervous, the man admitted the original footage showed a tall man with a neck tattoo, something Malik didn't have, but he was warned not to say anything. Now the case wasn't just suspicious, it stank of cover-up. Amara secretly met with Julia, Malik's lawyer. "This isn't just about your client," Amara said. "It's about everything we believe this system stands for." Julia was stunned. Amara wasn't supposed to interfere, but this wasn't interference. This was justice. Together, they planned to reintroduce suppressed evidence. Then unexpectedly, an anonymous email arrived. A detective named Allen, still serving, had sent a copy of the original surveillance tape that had been deleted. In it, a large man with tattoos, not Malik, was clearly visible. On the day of final arguments, Julia rose with new strength. "Your Honor," she began, "we request to recall Detective Barnes to the stand." The detective, cool and smug, sat under oath. Julia pulled out a printed document. "Are you aware that the convenience store owner, Mr. Patel, filed multiple complaints about this very footage going missing?" she asked. The prosecutor objected, but Judge Amara's voice was firm. "Overruled. Continue." Julia then produced banking records showing transactions from the victim's family charity to Detective Barnes's private account, over 5 years. Gasps echoed through the courtroom. The prosecutor scrambled to recover, but the damage was done. Julia concluded with power and purpose. "This trial is no longer just about Malik Thompson. It's about the integrity of our system. If we allow corruption to silence the innocent, no one is safe." The jury deliberated for less than an hour. "Not guilty," the foreman announced. Malik's knees buckled. He turned to Julia, eyes wet with disbelief. "Thank you," he whispered. From the bench, Amara didn't speak. She simply looked at him, the boy who once saved her, now saved by truth. After the trial, Amara requested an internal investigation into the department's procedures. Multiple officers were suspended. The case led to a statewide review of evidence handling protocols and training on systemic bias. That night, in her empty chambers, Amara sat at her desk reflecting. Justice, she realized, isn't just about verdicts. It's about courage. The courage to act when it's easier to stay silent. The courage to risk everything when someone else has nothing. Not everyone has an Amara Jordan in their corner, Malik later said in an interview. But I hope more people choose to become someone like her.